Hi, this is DJ with Pure Energy Connections, where we're connecting the world for physical, spiritual, and emotional awareness and transformation. And here, revolutionizing a new era. It's in wellness, growing food, and energy healing. And today, I have an amazing guest. You're going to love him. He's all about energy, and he's going to amaze you. His name is Jim Kurtz. He is the Chief Operating Officer for Harvest Harmonics. Harvest Harmonics is an international company. It's with the mission of eliminating chemical fertilizers and pesticides from our food. We definitely need that. So while also helping farmers improve their profitability. So the Crop Booster is helping farmers and governments in 68 countries to grow more sustainably. Isn't that amazing? So Jim is here to announce his new product for gardeners, homesteaders, and small farmers to allow everyone to grow their own healthy food, enjoy a chemical-free lawn, and beautify their homes. And Jim is here with us right now. This is Jim Kurtz. Thank you for being here with Pure Energy Connections, and welcome to the show.
Yes, TJ, appreciate it. So yeah, it's been I know you and I have kind of known each other for I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years. It's been quite a while. And
Yes.
obviously our company has grown a lot in that time, as you mentioned. We went from just a small office here in Florida to literally talking to ministers of agriculture and presidents and vice presidents and it's been a very, very interesting and difficult but fun journey. Um, as most people would know, when you're going up against the chemical agriculture, big pharma, those types of special interests. It's not always an easy journey, but you know, we've decided and we've made it our mission to really help people eat healthier because at the end of the day, you can do everything else right, but if you're not putting healthy food and healthy water in your body, then it's just your body's always having to fight something. So we wanted to really take care of that so people didn't get sick and obviously um, you know, help them live healthier lives.
Definitely. I'm so glad you're on the show here. This is what it's all about. So let me go ahead also, and I'm going to share the screen because you have an absolutely beautiful website. I'm going to put the screen up here so everybody can see it, if that's okay. Yeah, I love it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And definitely go ahead and tell our audience all about the company, where it started, where it's going. And it's so exciting. I'm so glad to have you here.
So our company was actually founded by our CEO Frank Arlia, and he discovered this technology by accident. His mother, this was probably about 10 years ago now. His mother was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, meaning that there was fluid building up in her heart, and this happened 3 times in a row, like 3 months, once after the other. So she had three congestive heart failures in a row where they had to drain her heart and everything. And at the third time, the doctor said, "Look, she's just not going to make it. There's nothing we can do for her. Just make your final preparations, say your goodbye. She has maybe 3 months to live at most." Obviously, he wasn't going to accept that. He decided, "No, I'm going to save my mom's life." So he contacted everybody in his network. He eventually found a gentleman named Fulvio Balmelli. He's a medical researcher in Italy and translated all of her medical records into Italian. And they said, "We can save her life, but you have to get her here to the clinic in Italy fast, like within the next few days." They also told her that there's about a 50% chance she's not even going to make the flight, meaning she would die on the plane. So he asked his mother, like, "Do you want to take a chance?" She said, "Yeah, let's do it." So they packed up all the medical equipment, all the oxygen tanks and everything else, and put her on the plane. And she did obviously make it to Italy. They scanned her with this technology, and they discovered a virus that was actually attacking her heart. And the virus was causing the heart to fill up with fluid, which was obviously causing these heart attacks. Within a few days, they stabilized her, and then over the next 30 days, they were able to completely rebuild her body to the point where she came in a wheelchair with oxygen mask and everything else, and she walked out with just a walker, no oxygen, no nothing. But during that time, while he was they were treating his mother, Fulvio Baumelli, who invented this technology, and Frank, our CEO, started talking about business related matters. And eventually, Fulvio asked Frank if he would help him get this technology out to the world because he can treat people in his clinic, but he wants to get this out and really help all of humanity. And of course, Frank said, yes, you saved my mom's life. Of course, I'll do whatever you want. And Fulvio said, I have this agricultural technology. I've been studying plants for about 20 years, and I figured out how to grow plants without chemical fertilizers, where we can grow with just natural organic fertilizers or manure or compost. And we can actually replace a lot of the chemical fertilizers that farmers are using. And it's the chemical fertilizers that are actually causing people to keep getting sick over and over again. And he said, look, I don't want to keep treating people and curing disease. I want to prevent disease. So that was about 10 years ago. Obviously, Frank said, yes, that's why we're all here, you know. And it took another 5 to 6 years of research and development to develop this technology and get it to where it was scalable to large commercial farms. And in 2019, we launched our product. At that point, you know, a lot of the farmers were telling us, look, this sounds good, but we need to try it. So we gave a lot of our technology, about $4 or $5 million of our technology, away to farmers. And unfortunately, many of those farmers did not actually measure or do proper testing, et cetera. But the ones who did became our best customers. And from those results, we were able to get more farmers and more farmers and more farmers going until about 2 to 3 years ago. Obviously, COVID had a big problem, was a big stopping point because right when we launched in 2019, then COVID hit the next year.
Yeah.
But once COVID cleared away and everybody got back to work again, you know, we said, look, we're not going to be able to really expand this until we get this tested and verified by independent researchers. So we developed a program called our 1000 Science Program, where we did 1,000 university trials. We're at about 400 now, 420, I think, that are either completed or in progress or just getting started. So we wanted to make this technology completely vetted and completely proven, completely independently of us. We don't pay for any university trials. The universities do them. Most universities want us to pay them. We said that we're not paying for any trials. We want this to be completely 100% independent from us. We don't want to be ever accused that we paid for a trial, so we got a result. Currently, we have 30 university trials that are completed, and those are all on our main website. We're showing the garden website here, which is because we're kind of describing our newest product here for gardeners, which I'll get to in a second. But the way this technology works is very innovative and very unique because most farmers and most gardeners are looking at fertilizer. How do you grow plants? Well, you put fertilizer on them, you water them, sunlight occurs, and then the plants grow. But Mr. Baumelli discovered that plants in their natural environment have certain signals that they respond to. For example, when the birds chirp in the morning, the plants open up their leaves because they respond to that vibration from the bird song. That tells them when to open their leaves up because the sunlight's coming. Likewise, when it gets too hot, that causes a signal in the plant to close the leaves so they don't evaporate too much water. Or if they have a sound of an insect, you know, attacking a leaf or eating a leaf, it triggers a response in the plant to send a chemical so that the insects go away. Likewise, the vibration of water in the soil, the roots, believe it or not, can actually sense the vibration of running water, and they grow the roots toward that sound so that they grow and can contact water. And all of these things have been proven by many, many researchers, not just Mr. Baumelli, but Mr. Baumelli actually took all of those signals and developed waves, very small waves that mimic or simulate those natural signals in the environment. And as a result, Mr. Baumelli programmed these small microchips, just like this. I don't know if you can see it with my thing here, but they're essentially like little discs. And these little discs are just metal discs. The discs themselves are not that important. But the information on these discs is just like a flash drive for your computer. or a CD, if you remember the old CDs we used to have. But these little discs essentially contain over 3,000 unique signals that are normally found in nature and that we've programmed into these little modules. We take these discs and we attach this to an irrigation system. Obviously, for big farms, we have large systems, but what I'm going to show you now would be for a homeowner or a gardener. So we take these little pipe fittings, just nothing special, just these little pipes that you can attach to a hose. Okay. We take these little discs and we attach it right in this little compartment here. Okay. And then we have a little compartment that sits over the top of this, just like that. And then we screw them on we have a couple of screws that just holds this in place. So when they're completed, you have something that looks like this, just a pipe fitting with a little compartment here that's the disc is inside there. And you would essentially just attach this or plumb this into your irrigation line. Or if you're a homeowner or a gardener, you can take a garden hose and just screw a garden hose right to the outside of this threading. And you just water just like you see in Home Depot. In fact, we're going to be going into Home Depot and Lowe's probably within the next year. But you can literally just water your lawn. You can water your plants. You can put it in your sprinkler system. If you have a home garden, you can water your garden with it with like a drip hose. However you would normally water your plants, that little disc that I showed you is sending signals to the plant. When the plants absorb that signals, it's essentially telling the plant, hey, it's time to grow. It's time to absorb more sunlight. Hey, it's time to grow my roots deeper so I can get more nutrients out of the soil. It's time to suck in more carbon dioxide so that I can generate more sugar through photosynthesis. And all of this is done. The beauty of this is all of this is done completely chemical free. So yes, you may need to add some compost or some fertilizer if you have nothing in your soil, but generally, for the most part, you can do this almost chemical free or fertilizer free. And so what you would do is you would just essentially purchase one of our little modules. Again, we have a small one for a hose. This would be about 1.5 inches that would go into like an automatic sprinkler system, right? Or if you have a larger home, like let's say you have a few acres, you might need a bigger unit like this unit here. This unit actually has a compartment that has 3 of these discs, 1, 2, 3. And this can handle higher water volumes. So if you have, let's say a ranch, like I know you live on 10 acres, or somebody has a big house with 2 or 3 acres or 4 acres, and they need a bigger system, we have systems that can handle their home.
I have a question.
Again, the beauty of this, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just a quick question. I don't know if anyone else was thinking about this, but when you were mentioning about, oh, it's sunlight, right? It's time to open up, absorb the sun, the photosynthesis and everything. So does it matter what time of the day that you're actually watering? So it wouldn't be at nighttime, or is that going to kind of disturb the synergy?
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, the way our technology works, it won't affect that at all. Obviously, if you're in a very hot environment, you might even want to water in the morning or the evening, when the sunlight's not super hot. Because if you water in the middle of the day and it's hot outside, a lot of that water will evaporate. But it won't hurt the plant or affect how our technology works with the plant. It just may affect, obviously, either evaporation of the water or it can cause the plant to kind of shrivel a little bit if it's in the middle of the day.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
So yeah, I mean, it's a very easy to use. The beauty of this, I mean, it is kind of technical to explain how this all works, but the beauty of it is it's super, super easy to use. All you really have to do is put this in your irrigation system or on a hose and water the plants, and the rest is essentially done for you. But again, we really wanted to give the gardener and the farmer primarily, but then as we're transitioning, we want homeowners to have the same thing the farmers have, because we all have homes, we all have lawns, we have trees, we have maybe house plants. Some of us have gardens, and it doesn't do us much good if we're eating healthy if then your kids are rolling around in the lawn and you just sprayed a bunch of Roundup on the lawn, or you just sprayed a bunch of, chemical fertilizers on the lawn, and then your kids and your pets are breathing that, and that's not necessarily healthy either. So we wanted to give the homeowner and homesteader and gardener the same opportunity to have healthy plants and a healthy environment. And if you're growing your own food, healthy food. So we took our large scale systems for commercial agriculture and we condensed it down into small units that an individual homeowner can use.
That's great. That is awesome.
Uh, yeah, and obviously I know you had used one of our systems a few years ago. I mean, what was your experience with this? Because I know it was like 4 or 5 years ago actually that you used this. What was your experience with it?
Yes, I wasn't here on the 10 acres. Most of our acreage here is pastures for the horses, and we have chickens, but we do have a couple acres of, where we grow food, and we have a food forest and a banana forest. But back then, I had potted plants, and I was using it where I came from, and I was amazed at the growth. I think is the one thing, and I was growing avocado trees, and of course, I had my herb garden out there and the growth seemed like it excelled, and also it never had a problem. Never had a problem with bugs. Never had a problem with my leaves having holes in it. Nothing like that.
Yeah, and that's when we get testimonials like that from farmers all the time. And I think another thing that's not well understood yet, but it's something we're trying to educate, especially farmers, but people also is when plants are healthy, just like humans, like plants have their own defenses against insects and funguses and other things that can normally kill it. Just like we have defenses against, viruses and bacteria and disease ourselves. If you're healthy, then your body will fight those things off. If you're not healthy or you're compromised, then your body becomes the victim of that, and you get sick, right? Plants are the same way. If plants are super healthy and they're growing strong, then if an insects come by, the insects will actually avoid those plants. They don't just attack them, because insects actually can only actually eat weak plants or plants that are already sick because their digestive system can't process leaves that are like too high in iron or too high in sugar. So what our system is doing is just making the plants healthy and strong, and that will naturally improve their natural resistance. So if you have a lot of holy leaves or things that are eating your plants that I don't know if I can do anything about rabbits and horses and, and animals, but generally if it's an insect or a fungus or something like that, then our system should definitely improve that.
Yeah, so it helps with the bugs. Yeah, that was one of the main things I noticed besides for the growth. That was amazing because where I came from, we had a lot of bugs and I had a lot of issues. Yeah, so it was incredible technology. Yes, and I'm looking forward to using it here too on the farm.
Yeah, I got to get out there, and you're about a couple hours away. I think I got to get out there and see if we can deliver another system for you.
You should, yes, definitely come up and visit for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
This is amazing. I'm going to bring
Uh,
up a flyer too, if you don't mind, the one that you had sent over to me. And this is really
sure.
nice. Yeah, this is really nice also. Can you see it?
I'm
It's
still seeing the website.
not showing up.
You
Oh,
might need to turn off the screen share and then share it again. I don't know.
yeah, that might be it. Let me try that. Give me just a moment. It's going a little bit
While you're
slow.
pulling that up, yeah, while you're pulling that up, I'll let people know that obviously for your listeners and anybody who's hearing this, we are running a special because we had a different style of unit that was a permanent system. It didn't have that compartment. So we are developing the next delivery system, which has the little compartment, and that makes it easier to change out the discs every 2 years when you need to replace them. But for anybody who's interested in ordering one themselves, we are offering a $100 off special if you decide you'd like to pre-order one of the new units. Um, and there you see the new units there in the flyer. Um, but anybody who's interested who watches this video within the next week, if you just go to boostergarden.com, or you can obviously, if you can't get a hold of it or something, you can always email us at service@harvestharmonics.com. And if you pre-order, you get $100 off. So it's about a 20% discount. So this is a kind of a thank you for your listeners and then you who've always supported us in various ways. So just wanted to extend that if anybody's interested in getting their own unit. and seeing how this works on their own house or their own lawn or garden. We definitely want to help you get this because again, the more we can get rid of the chemicals out of our environment and out of our food and out of our, living spaces, the healthier we'll all be. And then a lot of these diseases that, RFK and various people are talking about will start to go away as we start to clean up our environment and our food system.
That's amazing. So eco-friendly. Yes, definitely. And that's very generous. $100 off the system. And just to let people know, today's date is June 12th, 2025. And you'll extend that for a week, you said? Was it a week?
Yeah, like till next, I would say that it was a week from now, the 19th. So I guess till June 20th, we'll extend that offer. So anybody who
Okay.
wants to jump in, just you can order it right on boostergarden.com, or if you can't or have any technical issues, again, just email us at service@harvestharmonics.com and we'll take care of you.
Service at harvestharmonics.com. Okay. Say
Yeah.
that real fast 3 times. Okay, good. Yeah.
Service at Harvest Harmonics. Yeah.
Harvestharmonics.com. Okay, good. Awesome. That is so exciting. And all right, we still have some time left here. Do you want to go into more detail about any other part of the system or any other
Sure.
testimonials?
Yeah. I mean, I can probably, I didn't prepare testimonials, but I could probably share some stuff. Like I said, we've tested this out on over 100 different plant varieties now. Um, and mostly obviously for commercial agriculture, we've tested this on, everything from peppers to tomatoes, lettuce, cucumbers, pretty much anything you can think of, any type of food product, we test this on. And we've tested this on lawns and stuff too. So it's not just necessarily for, food products, it could be horticulture, those types of things also. So, but I can share a couple of different results here.
Yeah, I remember the
Let's see
lawns
if I
were
can.
turning out really nicely too. Just the people that were using it for lawns and flowers and their shrubbery.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let me share my screen here. Hold on. So this is our main website. Again, our primary business is to help farmers. But we have you know, you go to if people are really interested in the technical details, every now and then we get an electrical engineer or agricultural engineer who wants to know, I want to know the science behind it. And you can go to, there's a page called the science and our university studies and all that is all up there. We have it in English and Spanish. Um, we have customers all over South America, but everything you see here are products that we've tested this on and gotten good results on. So everything from your tree fruit, your berries, even like stuff for horses like clover, alfalfa, grass, hay, those types of things. Coffee. The interesting thing is the dairy. We actually did a couple of trials in universities on dairy, and just by improving the quality of the pasture of the actual grass that the cows were eating, cows started producing twice as much milk over a 3-month period than they were before. Um, and it doesn't look like it's here, but they went from basically 50 liters a day per cow to 140 liters per day over a 3-month period. So again, all organic, all they don't feed them any kind of hormones or anything like that, but they just because of the feed value and the protein content that was in the alfalfa, they were able to dramatically improve milk production, for example.
That's amazing.
Um, People always ask me, well, does it work on pests? Does it work on cows? Does it work on horses? It doesn't directly affect animals or humans. The other thing I get a lot is, is it going to affect my drinking water? If I drink this, I said, don't worry, you're not going to sprout a celery stick out of your chest. It's totally fine. Because the signals are designed for plants, for plant physiology, not for humans. So it won't affect positively or negatively um, any kind of animal life. So not even the insects like the pollinators and bees, that it doesn't have any effect on them whatsoever. So um, there's no worry about you're killing bee populations or those types of things. And the signals are very, very tiny and very, very weak. So you won't be able to hear anything. It's not going to send any kind of signal that is going to broadcast out and affect birds or insects or anything like that. So there's really no worry of any wildlife that could be harmed from this. And it all gets just sent directly into the water and carried to the plants.
Good to know. Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah. I've
So,
already mentioned the pest resistance. Again, we've tested this out in a number of different crops all over the world, from India to Australia to here to Africa, obviously here in the United States, South America. So every climate, every soil type, we haven't really encountered anything that's been a barrier where we say, oh, we don't get results on this crop, or we can't work with that soil. The only thing we've ever had problems with is if farmers continue to use the heavy chemicals. Sometimes we've noticed that they don't get the boost in yield and the boost in benefits that more natural or organic farmers would see. What we
mhm,
do is we typically tell them, follow our program and reduce your typical usage by about 20% to start with, and then over time we take a look. Sometimes we can get more aggressive and reduce it by 40 or 50%. Sometimes the soil needs a little bit of time to recover from the chemical use. So in some cases we'll say just cut it by 10% and start there.
gotcha. Okay. Well, we do have a bug problem here, that's for sure. So that would be really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some bugs I've never seen before that start taking over. In fact, my herb garden, I had some, I didn't know what they were at first. And then she came out and she says, oh, those are little tiny, like caterpillars. And they turn into these beautiful butterflies. And I said, but they're eating my leaves. They were all over one of my herb plants. And so, yeah, this is absolutely incredible what you've done, and it's benefiting so many farmers already. That is
Yeah.
one. I love it.
Yeah. And so, for homeowners, again, what we've seen a lot of people locally is they say, well, can you do something for my lawn? I said, yeah, absolutely. It'll make the lawn a deeper green, darker green. And it will help them come back faster. So when you mow it and stuff. So again, it's not going to grow the grass for you. You still have to have grass, or you have to have seed or whatever, but it will definitely stimulate that growth and keep the bugs away.
Okay, good to know. All right, very
Yeah,
good. So, yeah, so let's go and let everybody know again the two websites, the one where you can go to the science and the other one for the boosting. Give them all that information again, and the email, just in case anyone wants to ask you questions, if you can give all that information again.
absolutely. So the website for gardeners is called
Mhm.
boostergarden.com, all one word. Um, it's very, very simple. You just go there and you'll be able to look at different case studies and testimonials, and our return policy, all that stuff is all on the website. And again, you can pre-order one of our new systems and get $100 off. Um, I believe the code, I have to double check. I believe the code is PEC for Pure Energy Connections. So PEC 100. So if you're checking out, just type in PEC 100 and you'll get $100 off your order for the pre-order. If you want to find out more in depth how our system works, the technology, all that stuff, or you just want to see our agricultural case studies, you can go to harvestharmonics.com, and harmonics is plural. So just like harvest, like you're yielding a harvest, and then harmonics, all one word, .com. And you can see everything from there. Now we have our agricultural technology, which is more expensive because they're more powerful systems. Um, they start with $1,000 there, and they go up for depending on how much land you have. But you can order the agricultural stuff if you have a little farm or something. You want to order one for your farm, you can order it right there. And then again, if you have any kind of questions, or you're running into a problem, or something's not working, please definitely email us at service@harvestharmonics.com. So just like customer service, it's just service@harvestharmonics.com.
Mhm.
And on our website too is our phone number too. So if you're in the United States, you can call us also at that number. And again, we're always there Monday to Friday. So feel free to reach out and ask any questions, or if you want to do something over the phone, if you're more comfortable, by all means, give us a call.
Very good. And again, that's PEC. Of course, that stands for Pure Energy Connections, PEC 100. And they do that at checkout. I guess there's an area that says coupon or discount code.
Like promo code, I think it is, or coupon code. Yeah.
Okay, good, good. That is awesome. Very good. Thank you so much. This is very exciting. I know here we have a few different spigots that because we have it's quite large here, and we have, some plants growing on one side. We just planted some new olive trees, and then we have our other garden that was more like a tree forest, and then we have our food garden. So we do have a few different ones. So we would actually have to get three, I'm assuming, to handle all
Yeah.
parts.
Yeah, or I mean, if you run into a situation where you have a complex system like that, you have different pumps or different areas, or if you're a homeowner and you have different, areas or zones that you water in,
Mhm.
and you have questions, again, just give us a call or send us an email. We're happy to discuss your specific situation, and we'll work with you to find the most cost effective, way to get it done. We're not here to make a ton of money on people. We're here to just try to get people eating and living healthier. So whatever we can do to make it cost effective for you, we'll do.
Exactly. That's you guys are awesome. You always have been. I love you guys. You're just amazing what you're doing for and the number one thing. Well, the number two thing, the number one is water, but number two is our food. And it's amazing, Jim. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So I hope
Yeah,
to have
thanks.
you
Thanks
back.
for having me.
Yeah, I hope to have you back again.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes, definitely. Well, good. Well, thank you again. Everyone, thank you for joining us here at Pure Energy Connections. Contact them if you have any other questions. And Jim, thank you again for being here. I really appreciate it. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. All the best and bye for now.